What's going on? Figure I could go live a little bit while I'm waiting to pick my daughter up from school. It's been a while since I really did some content. I think I did some content on Monday, and it's been a couple of days since. So I figured, I might as well go a little bit live now that I got some time. And I'm waiting in this long line at this school. So it appears that Mike McCarthy in his presser talked about guys that aren't in the building due to illness. And Terrence Steele, Michael Gallup, and Trayvon Diggs were among three on that list. And I know that we dealt with that problem a little bit last week, and you could kind of tell that the team was a little bit rusty, with some of the illnesses in the building or some of the illnesses on the team. And, if you've been part of a team or you've been part of, what's going on, Eric? If you've been part of a locker room or if you've been part, even at work or something like that, sometimes things just have to pass through your organization wherever you are. What's up, Stage? What's going on? Sometimes, it just has to pass through, and it looks like it's those guys' turn right now to deal with the illness, whatever that is. And, I don't want to say, that special word that we somehow have banned from, if I say it on my channel, I'll probably get dinged for it or whatnot. But that's probably more than likely what it is. And, 4 to 5 days outside of your workplace, and then you can kind of come back. That's kind of what I think it is, but nobody wants to say it. What's up, Dallas Cowboys for life? What's going on? Carlos, how you doing? Guys, leave comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. As far as it goes, if nobody's really panicking, and if it's just something as simple as a illness, it's a tough game this week, against the Colts, and it's going to be a physical matchup, and this illness might come into play at some point. So you guys saw what happened last week with illnesses where we had certain people that had to sit out that were inactive, Kelvin Joseph being one of them. And I'm not sure that our special teams suffered from that, but he is one of our better special teams players. Carlos says, I need to know what illness is spreading around. Yeah, I kind of feel like they don't want to say exactly what it is. I'm actually going to check with one of my sources. From what I understand, last week, it was bubble guts. But I don't really remember bubble guts really lasting this long. Like, if you're talking about like a stomach virus or something like that. A stomach virus might hit everybody abruptly, but I don't remember it lingering around for weeks. You know what I'm saying? So, leads me to believe that illness is something else. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just speculating. I'm not really saying anything factual. It's just an opinion. But normally, illnesses don't hang around like this unless it's something bad, like the flu or, the flu or the cold or RSV and stuff like that. Like, that stuff has been lingering. RSV has, I have a father of kids, so RSV has been something that's been around a lot this fall. So, it very well could be RSV. We're all speculating at this point, but, it is news that the guys haven't been in the building. Now, they've been playing football long enough this season. They've been playing football long enough this season. They've been, in practices. They've been locked into what they have to do mentally. So I don't believe that this will hurt them as much. Maybe a couple snaps, rusty here, rusty there. But, at that level, once you're locked in, you might not even have to practice all week to be able to perform on Sundays. So I'm not the least bit worried. I know that there are a couple of content creators and there's a couple writers and stuff like that are probably worried about something like this, but I'm not really worried. I'd be more worried about what game plan we're going to have this week, and I'm more worried about how we're going to deal with how physical this game is going to be. It's going to be a taxing type game. It's going to be ugly. Now, I know that, I've always thrown jabs at the Eagles fans because they've been throwing jabs at us. But this was a tough fought win for them. Definitely a tough one. What's going on, Lola? How you doing? This is going to be a tough one for us. Even if we blow them out. Like, think about this, right? The Minnesota game, the score 40-3, but all week, it was a tough week for the Cowboys. They had to do some soul searching. Tough comes in different forms. It comes in different fashions, you know. Guys, make sure if you know, we got 10 people here, make sure you hit that like button. Yeah, struggle comes in different shapes and fashions. The score doesn't always reflect how tough something is. And I do believe that this will be a tough one. I reflected this in my video on Monday that I feel like I think this is the AFC South. I think the AFC South is a tougher division than given credit for, just based on the type of players that they draft. Lola says it's going to be a physical game. Everybody puts their best shoes on when they play us. Yes, and I think Micah said something along those lines yesterday, where we get everybody's best shot, and I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. It's always been like that. We get every referee's dream to call penalties as well, because more than likely, you know, some of these referees, this might be the only time that you're getting seen all year. So I also believe that's part of why the penalties are the way in our games, but that's just a theory. Lola said prime time. Yeah, prime time. It's always prime time with us, man. Like, everybody always talks about prime time games, this, prime time games, that. The Dallas Cowboys game is always the focal point every week, or is a focal point. Carlos Holloway says, Micah said everyone plays us harder than any other team. Yes. So, you know, it was something that he said along the lines of, you know, being upset. I don't think that we're good enough to call things upsets. We still got to win and show that we're a contender. So there shouldn't be, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think we're that high up on the chain for things to be called an upset at this point. Hold on, give me a second, guys. I'm going to try and pause this live and see if I can pause it. I don't know if I can. I'm going to mute my microphone real fast because they're going to ask me my daughter's name. And I know there's a lot of creeps out there, so, yeah, that's how that goes. There's a lot of creeps lurking around here, so I just want to make sure that I have my privacy a little bit. So, guys, give me one quick second, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Anybody say anything in the comment section? I don't know if anybody said anything. What's going on? Joe, hey, how you doing? All the family's here. You guys this must be the time that everybody likes to hear their news and stuff like that. I might have to go live at this time a little bit more. You know, normally I'm working. Today, the person who normally picks up my daughter can't do it. So here I am, sitting in the parking lot with a whole bunch of angry parents right now. And I just figured, you know what, let me go live and talk to you guys. But it's good to see the families here, you know. Good to see that. I thought about doing a show tonight. It's kind of short notice, so I haven't been able to talk to anybody. But, you know, LeBron James said something last night, and I'll talk about it because I tweeted about it, and I'll just address it I'll address it right here. I don't think LeBron James was wrong in what he said. I do think that he's right. You know, they were on his head. They were on his head about Kyrie Irving. They actually asked LeBron a lot of questions that don't have to do with basketball, about social issues. They always ask LeBron about social issues. I mean, he's a global icon, so it's to be expected. So I know that a lot of people feel like, you know, he's a basketball guy and that's a football question, but it's really a social issue. You know, no matter who it is, it might be an NFL owner, but it is a social issue. And I do remember them asking him fielding questions about the Kaepernick stuff. So him feeling slighted because they didn't ask him about Jerry, I do think that that's valid. Now, would I like, Jay Williams went on the First Take today and talked about denouncing racism, and he would like to see Jerry Jones do that. I would like to see it too. As a black man first, content creator second, I would like to see it. But what I would like to see and what's going to happen is two different things. When you're an owner, it's actually ironic that owners don't have to own up to anything. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of just do things and they can get swept under the rug. But as a fan of that team, I would like to see that. I definitely would. Only because, and I say that because the precedent has been set. The precedent has been set with the things that were asked of Kyrie. The precedent has been set with things that they've been asking people to do, to be politically correct. So I would like to see it to show some consistency. Am I demanding it? No, I'm not demanding it. The reason I'm not demanding it is because, am I going to be a person that puts up a wall and says, if this doesn't happen, I'm going to quit being a fan? No, I'm not going to be, because the NFL, football, a lot of these things was built on, racism. If you think about it, the NFL, when it started, there was no integration. They started out, I could be wrong. Somebody can check me and let me know if I'm wrong with that. But, I think that, as time went on, the game became more diverse. I'm actually somebody that's not for a whole bunch of like, hey, I'm not really with cancel culture. But if we're being, I'm just asking for consistency. That's all I'm asking for. If we're gonna do this for these certain individuals, then these certain individuals need it as well. Doesn't matter how big you are. I've been raised like that, where nobody's, everybody puts their pants on just like everybody else. But I know that the world doesn't work that way. But that's the way that I look at it, and that's how I feel about it. I'm not gonna stop being a Cowboy fan because of an old picture that happened in 1957. Because he was 14 years old. At 14 years old, I was very impressionable as well. I did a lot of things, hung out with a lot of people that I don't hang out with today. I don't have the same views today that I had at 14 years old. But with that being said, though, we set a precedent today. So that's something that I would like to see, so I just wanted to touch on that. Spock says the combine does kind of look like an auction of a certain type from a few hundred years ago. Yeah, it does. And on my very channel, I asked my cousin about it. My cousin was a former Pro Bowler. And he talked about how the process is pretty degrading, and you kind of know that. You kind of know that going in, and I mean, it is that, what I'm saying? They poke, they prod, and nobody really likes those. Nobody really likes it. But at the end of the day, it's part of the sacrifice, and it sucks. It's part of the game that we love. I'm not sure. And you know what? Some of the people who get drafted pretty high, they don't go through that. Now, you got to go through the physical. You got to go through that part. But there are certain parts that they don't do. Some of them don't run. They don't perform. They don't do the throwing, or they don't do the drills and stuff like that. So, Stage says, DMV, do we extend Tanner Steele from what we saw him do past 2 seasons? Absolutely. I think he's number one on your priority list, even above Tony Pollard. I think it goes Tanner Steele, Tony Pollard, and then whatever happens after that. We do have to address it. And guys, I'm gonna cut this short in a little bit, because I'm about to pick my daughter up. But it was cool to jump on for a little bit. I could take maybe like 2 more questions. I'll take like 2 more questions. What's going on, Tyrone? My guy. I got to get you on here sometime, my guy. We just got to figure it out. We got to figure out a schedule, and I got to get you on here at some point. Well, guys, my daughter's here, so I got to get ready to go. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell each time I come out with content. I'm out.